Good morning. My name is Dave Fincham and I'm president of Fincham Consulting. And we're excited to roll out a brand new leadership series entitled The Legacy Leader. In this series, we're going to look at, first of all, what a legacy leader is, how they live, and how they lead. Now, I know by now some of you are wondering, first of all, what is a legacy leader? Well, when we take both of those words and we break them down, first of all, we find out that a legacy is something that you and I pass down that continues from generation to generation. A leader is someone who has authority, someone who has influence. Now we combine both of those definitions and here's what we find. A legacy leader is someone who passes down leadership influence that continues from generation to generation. The first thing that a legacy leader knows, they know the definition of leadership in its simplest form, and that is influence. John Maxwell, who's considered the #1 leadership expert in the world, he says leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. Let me say that one more time. Leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. If we embrace that definition, and I think we should, we look at it and we realize that everyone is a leader because we all have influence at some level. So the question is not whether we're a leader, the question is what type of influence are we passing down? Is it positive or is it negative? Are we passing down positive value or are we passing down negative value? One of the greatest examples that I know of a couple, a husband and wife team that had a great leadership legacy and they had great influence was Jonathan and Sarah Edwards. Jonathan was a preacher back in the 1700s and he had great influence during his time. Jonathan and Sarah, they had 11 children. Out of those children, they had 1,400 descendants. And in the early 1900s, they did a study on those descendants, and here's what they found. It's an amazing list. They found that 100 of those were lawyers and one was a dean of a law school. 80 were holders of public office. 66 were physicians. One was a dean of a medical school. 65 were professors of colleges and universities. 30 were judges, 13 were college presidents, 3 were mayors of large cities, 3 were governors of states, 3 were United States senators, 1 was a controller of the United States Treasury, 1 was a vice president of the United States. And that is just a short list. What an amazing legacy they had. As we close, I want to ask you and I 2 questions. First of all, what type of legacy do we want to leave? And number 2, what type of influence are we passing down? Next week, we're going to be talking about how we process and how we start to become a legacy leader. If this has been helpful, please like and share this session on our Facebook page. We certainly want you to have a great week, and we look forward to next week as we continue our series, The Legacy Leader.